Hello, I'm Chelsea from simplecottageschool.com, and I am here to talk to you today about tinctures, and we are going to learn how to make a tincture. Now, this video is part of our series on herbology, and if you are interested in learning more about the classes we offer, you can click the link that is in the description. Today, as I said, we're going to make a tincture, and we need a few ingredients and a few pieces of equipment, but it's all very basic. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the ingredients that we need. Very, very simple. The first thing we need is we're going to need dried herbs. This is catnip that we are going to use today because we are going to make a calming and restful tincture. When you have herbs for your tincture, you want to make sure that they are well dried so that they don't grow mold or other undesirable things in your tincture. You will also need to have something to extract the volatile oils from the herb, and we are going to use apple cider vinegar today. You can also use vegetable glycerin. Most commonly, people use alcohol, either vodka or brandy. But today, we are making a non-alcoholic tincture, so you want to use vinegar. You always want to use cider vinegar. You do not want to use white vinegar. So make sure when you're out buying vinegar for your tincture, you have cider vinegar. Those are the only ingredients that we need to make a tincture. We do need some equipment. That includes a glass jar to put our tincture in. And when we're finished with our tincture, you need to have a bottle with a dropper, the little dropper like this, to hold your tincture. It's also helpful to have a piece of cheesecloth in order to drain off your tincture. So let's talk a little bit about that's all the equipment that you need to make a tincture. This is a very simple herbal preparation. There's not a whole lot to it, but they can be a really great addition to your herb cabinet. So now let's talk about how to create a tincture. This is, again, very, very simple. You need a glass jar. I suggest getting a glass jar that is quart size. When you make a tincture, I've tried to make tinctures in pint-sized jars, and I find that when I put my herbs in and I put my liquid in, the herbs take on that liquid and expand, and sometimes they go out over the top of the jar. So you want to make sure you have a big enough jar to do this properly. You're going to take your dried herbs. Again, I can't stress this enough. Make sure your herbs are well dried. There's no water in them. You're simply going to place your herbs, you see this, into your jar. Easy. And you can see them right there at the bottom of the jar. When you have your herbs in the jar, you're going to add cider vinegar, enough so that it covers the herbs. And here, let's look at this. And I'm going to put about that much in. You can see the herbs have not really taken on the vinegar yet. As that vinegar seeps into those herbs will expand a little. So you see a lot of vinegar here on the bottom. What will happen is these herbs will kind of expand downward and take up a lot of that space. That's why you want to have a jar with enough space here. So I leave a little bit of space in here to account for the herbs expanding. So now I'm going to just put my lid on. I usually shake my tincture real good to kind of help those herbs soak up that vinegar. Now there's not a whole lot of vinegar left at the bottom here, and when those herbs expand, I might find that I will need to put some more vinegar around the top to make sure those herbs are fully covered. You can see we have a tincture here that is already made. Almost all of the plant material has gone down in here. It's a lot darker. The vinegar has started to extract the oils out of the catnip. And you can really see a difference in these two. The newly made tincture and one that's been in here for a while. So now what we're going to do is we are going to use our cheesecloth to strain our tincture so that it's ready for bottling. So I'm going to pause this for just a minute so we can get something to strain our tincture into. Oh wait, no, I don't have to. I have right here with me, I have a little pot. So I'm just going to take my cheesecloth and it's back here. I'm going to put a good amount of, I'm going to tear this a little bit, of cheesecloth. The cheesecloth tears very easily, so you can, if you have entirely too much to go over your pot, you can just kind of tear it and make it the right size so you can save some for later. All right, so I'm going to take this cheesecloth and we're going to put it over our pot. I'm going to kind of pull it around down so that we have a good coverage when I pour this out. I'm actually going to tie this just a little. Give it. Okay. So what we're going to do next, we have our tincture. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention. When your tincture is ready, you want to put it in a cool, dry place, ideally for about 6 weeks. Check it periodically to make sure that the vinegar is covering the herbs, and put it somewhere dark. So if it's cool and it's dark, it protects those herbs and keeps all the good stuff that we want inside of them. So after about 6 weeks, then we'll drain off our tincture like this. We'll take our cheesecloth and very, very carefully, because you don't want to go over here. It's going to pull that down. We put a lot of vinegar in here, but it won't make as much tincture because some of that vinegar will stay in the herbs. And if you really want more of it out, with very clean hands, maybe even a plastic glove, you can squeeze that and it can bring the tincture out of it. I'm not going to do that in this case because I don't want to get stuff in my tincture. So we're going to put that aside and it's ready to bottle. So I do very, very carefully. Pour just a tiny little bit, fill up my bottle here. And I suggest using a funnel for this. I don't have a funnel right now, so I may end up getting this everywhere, but oops, and I did. So we'll dry some of that up. All right, so once you have your tincture bottled, you will want to label it. Label when you made it, what you put in it. Label the liquid that you used so you know what is in it. When you're ready to use it, you just take your dropper and you're going to take a little bit in a cup of warm water. Just put usually about a dropper full in a cup of warm water. and drink that down. Some people put it under their tongues with a vinegar tincture. I don't advise that because you want to make sure to keep your tincture nicer, and if it doesn't have the alcohol in it, it won't kill all the bad things, and you could degrade your tincture. You could introduce things into it that you don't want. Vinegar tincture has a shelf life of about 6 months to a year. You want to keep it someplace cool, dry, out of sunlight, and if you don't get anything in it, it should last a good time. Like I said, about 6 months to a year. So that's it. That's all there is to making a tincture. It's very, very easy. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you found it informative and educational. And I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.